In this video, I will determine the symmetry of the vibration modes of carbon 60 that belongs to the icosahedral point group. This point group has 10 different irreducible representations, 10 different types of symmetry operations, and in total 120 different symmetry operations. Therefore, the order of the icosahedral point group is 120. Also, you can find the characters in the column of the identity symmetry operation. That means doing nothing. You square this 10 numbers, and then you sum up all those squares. You also get 120, the order of the icosahedral point group. If you look at some of the characters, and you can see some cosine functions over here and here, and you see some of them cosine either 4 pi over 5 or 2 pi over 5, etc. We need to convert them to numbers in another Excel spreadsheet to determine the vibrational modes. So over here, for example, over here, this corresponds to -2 times cosine 4 pi over 4. And this is -2 times cosine 2 pi over 5. So we have all those characters. And then we're determining the symmetry of the vibration modes. We look at this carbon 60 atomic cluster and determine the number of atoms that remain in their original positions after certain symmetry operations. If we do the identity symmetry operation, that means doing nothing, all 60 atoms remain in their original positions. So we have 60 here. And then if you do any other symmetry operation, you pretty much get 0. You will move all 60 carbon atoms out of their positions. For example, C5, that means the rotation about the C5 axis 72 degrees, and if you do that, all those molecules will be moved out of their positions. The only other exception is this. You can see there's a 4 here. This is sigma symmetry plan, and I'm going to show you just one sigma plan that cut this carbon 60 into 2 halves. And if we cut these carbon 60 this way, you can see 1, 2, these 2 carbon atoms will remain in their original positions. So do these 2 carbon atoms. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Because this sigma symmetry plane contains these 4 carbon atoms. And now we need the characters of the XYZ translation. It's here. We just copy this 10 numbers here. Over here, the 10 numbers. Maybe I should just format this a little bit better. Let's keep only 3 decimal places. It's easier to read. Alright, and we do a multiplication between this row and this row. Alright, 180 here, and because all these numbers are zeros, we don't have to worry about those columns, and then 4 times 1 is 4. Now we have the products. We have only 2 non-zero numbers, 180 and 4. We have these 10 numbers multiplied by the number of symmetry operations in each type. So just these 10 numbers. But again, because I have only 2 non-zero numbers, the multiplication is easy. We have 180 here under the identity symmetry operation. And over here, because we have 15 sigma symmetry plan, so 4 times 15, we got 60 over here. And now we have this 10 numbers, only 2 non-zero numbers. We multiply these 10 numbers with the characters in each row of each irreducible representation. For A sub G, the characters are 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, so we got those numbers. For T1G, we can take a look. T1G, it's right here. This is 3 and this is -1. We don't have to worry about the 8 characters in the middle because anyway they will be multiplied by 0. So that's why we have non-zeros here mostly non-zeros here, but in the middle, the 8 columns are just simply zeros. Now we sum up these numbers. 240 is the sum of 180 and 60. And we sum up these two numbers. You can see we just simply sum up the 10 numbers. All right, 840, it's 900 plus negative 60. We have the order of the icosahedral point group, which is 120. Now we have the sums divided by the order, and now we have some integers. Those are the number of motions that belong to each irreducible representations. Alright, so we have 2AG motions for T1G motions, for T2G motions, 6G sub G motion. Over here, this G means, this uppercase G means it's quadruply degenerate, and the lowercase g in the subscript means it's G symmetry with respect to the inversion center. And we have 8 H sub G, and this H means quintuply degenerate. And the lowercase g again is symmetrical with respect to the inversion. Correspondingly, we have U symmetry as well, and then we have determined the symmetry of 180 motions, because we have 60 carbon atoms. Each has 3 independent coordinates, so we have 180 independent coordinates. Correspondingly, we have 180 independent motions, and they belong to this irreducible representations. And now, to determine the vibration modes, we need to subtract the rotation. The 3 rotations belong to this T1G irreducible representation, and then 3 translations T1U. And then in the end, we determined the vibrational modes, the symmetry of the vibrational modes for carbon 60. How many vibration modes does a carbon 60 atomic cluster have? Well, it's pretty simple. It's 180 minus 3 minus 3. Because we need to subtract 3 rotations and 3 translations. Finally, you can find this Excel spreadsheet in my webpage, so you can just go to this webpage. It's gonna show you some files under building physical chemistry from scratch, and just search. Scroll down, it's sorted alphabetical order, so just find molecular symmetry, you'll see this. Another way is you just search for PChemCW. You can find this webpage as well, PChemCW, the first website, and then you find the Excel file under this building physical chemistry from scratch, along with many other Excel spreadsheets which I use to determine the symmetry of vibrational modes of other molecules.